Hey guys, it's Jeff. Welcome to Whiskey. This is a channel where I offer my thoughts and opinions on a specific whiskey, and if you stick around to the end, I'll be giving it a score as well. If that sounds interesting, hit subscribe down below, and with that out of the way, let's jump into our review. Today we're looking at the Talisker 25. Stick around. Okay, so it's the Talisker 25 today, so we're getting really fancy with this one. And the reason I'm reviewing this is because I wanted to do a heavy hitter today, because this is actually the 300th video I've done on the channel. For my 100th video, I did a Springbank. My 200th video came and went and I didn't even notice it, but for the 300th, I wanted to do something special. So I put the question out to my patrons. I gave them a list of a few different heavy hitter whiskeys, and I asked them which one they wanted to see reviewed for this episode, and the biggest chunk of them went for the Talisker 25. And this'll be an interesting one. There's a lot to talk about here. And I want to start this video by saying I didn't buy this whiskey. It's a very expensive whiskey, as I'm sure you all know, and a little bit too expensive for my blood. What happened is I traded for this one with a friend, so Alan, thank you. Anyway, it's definitely going to be the price tag that people sort of latch on to, and rightly so. It'll be the hot button issue for this review, and I'll say it right out the gate. I mean, this whiskey's too expensive. You don't have to wait for us to get to the value bit at the end. I do think it's overpriced, and that's not because the whiskey isn't good enough. The whiskey we'll get to in a moment, but I just don't think anything, any drink, should be that expensive. And the reason I'm saying that is because I am not rich, which is something I'm very resentful of, by the way. But no, when you get into these kinds of price ranges, like I said, it's just not something that I would buy. At least I wouldn't buy it for any kind of regular event, regular drinking occasion. Maybe if it was a very special occasion or some kind of big life event. Maybe you could ask for this for a birthday present, and not even a normal birthday, like a big birthday, like 30th, 40th, 50th, something like that. By the way, I am turning 40 this year, if any of you want to send me, or maybe it would be something I would buy if I was getting married or my daughter was getting married. I don't have a daughter, or maybe I just died and my corpse is thirsty. Point is, I would only want to buy this because it is excessive, and I know it's excessive, and I'm just going all out for some kind of major occasion. It's definitely not like a drinking with the boys on a Friday night kind of whiskey. At least it isn't for me. If it is for you, congratulations. Also, I'm free this Friday if you want to hang or something. Anyway, getting back on track, we have a Talisker with us, which of course is owned by Diageo. Diageo famous for not giving us much in the way of details, so we don't have any cask breakdown here. This is a whiskey that does very well with reviewers. Online scores for this are very high. It seems to be a whiskey that a lot of people enjoy, and I'm personally very excited to try this one. Because as far as I'm concerned, Talisker makes some of the best older whiskey in the industry. Now, this isn't the oldest Talisker that I've tried, but it is the oldest Talisker that I've ever had a bottle of for myself. And expectations are quite high. So let's jump into our review and see what happens. In the meantime, if you'll kindly leave a like down below, that'd be greatly appreciated. All right, so we get typical Talisker specs here. So this one comes in at 45.8% ABV. It is chill filtered and it is colored. And of course, we got to have our mini rant here where this is a premium whiskey, it's expensive, why can't it be natural, WTF, etc. Okay, so I really like this bottle. I think it looks fantastic. What I like here is that it does look premium, but it's also kind of understated. It's not too flashy. And, we went from this, which is the older look, the older bottling, to this, which for me is way too cheesy, way too cartoony for such a premium whiskey. And when they did the rebrand, I said I didn't mind it for the 10-year-old. I don't mind it for the 10-year-old. The 10-year-old is widely available. It's a very affordable whiskey and it doesn't bother me. But when we're in fancy territory, I would rather have a classier bottle than this. So the older bottle, massively better, quite the downgrade. Old bottle gets 4.5 out of 5. This bottle says mid-Farbstoff, so we know it's colored. They're not going to brag about being chill filtered. This one comes with a bottle number. Made by the sea, not much details here. It says it's a maritime malt with a warming afterglow, and I've always loved that on Talisker bottles. I just love that word, afterglow. What a great word. I mean, generally speaking, whiskey reviews, and hell, even my whiskey reviews, already pretentious enough.
This is very elegant with a gentle nuttiness.
But warming afterglow, man, that sounds great. I love it. And also, bottle, the old bottle, looks fantastic. On the nose, we get a beautiful honey here. It's a slightly floral honey. Is spiced honey a thing? Probably. We definitely get a touch of spices here. It's salty. We get some nice fruitiness with stuff like pears, apples, apricots. There's a touch of smoke here, but it's very restrained smokiness. To its credit, this smells luxurious. On the palate and finish, we get a very measured arrival. This is oilier than I expected it to be. We get salt, we get florals, we get loads of honey in here, and we do have some of that classic Talisker minerality. For example, if you've ever snacked on limestone, it's slightly peppery. We get some indistinct fruity notes, maybe apricot, maybe papaya. It's very coastal, it's slightly earthy, and there's even a bit of creaminess to this. It's a medium finish. What a stupid delicious whiskey. I absolutely love this stuff. And of course, the price being what it is, expectations are high. This is a fantastic whiskey. I'm not saying it's worth the price. I'm just saying when you've got a price tag like this, your hopes and your expectations for this being great are high. And it is great. Now, compared to the 18, I think the 25 is much better than the 18. I'm not sure that it's more than double the price better, but it is better. And if you've watched my review of the 18, you know that I absolutely loved it. It was one of my favorite 18-year-olds. And of course, that one also famously expensive. Although I did have some Americans in the comments saying they could still find it for a fair price. But I think in most markets, the 18 is now well overpriced. So Talisker 18, excellent. Talisker 25, better still. It's got more nuance, it's got more details, it's more complex. I think we've got a better texture here. So in a lot of ways, it is a big upgrade from the 18. It's just a matter of how much are you willing to pay for that upgrade? Again, more than double the price, and the 18 already expensive, so tricky. Actually, it's not that tricky. If you're on a tight budget, skip both. But if you are on the market for a luxury whiskey, this is one of my favorite premium bottles. There's a beautiful silkiness here, not just in terms of texture. The flavors, while they are full and mouth coating, they do have this really soft, elegant delicacy to them. Remember what I was saying before about whiskey reviews being pretentious? Strap in. Our flavors here are very airy and delicate. On the surface, it is a pretty straightforward, classic Talisker profile with some dialed back smokiness, but we do get a lot of nuance, a lot of subtlety. There's an understated elegance to this. It genuinely does taste like a premium, expensive whiskey. This is one that I drink sparingly because, of course I do, but when I do drink it and when I share it, it's always a big hit. And as I said earlier, Talisker makes such beautiful older whiskey. Stuff like the 18, the 25, they are really impressive. Because you know how it is with some brands. You like the brand and maybe you try the 18-year-old and you think, oh yeah, that's pretty good. That's a step up. And maybe you're lucky enough to try a 20-plus-year-old and you think, yeah, that's really good, or that's much better. But Talisker is one of those brands where even though I love a lot of the younger stuff, I love the 10-year-old, and for the most part, I like the Talisker range. They really next level their whiskey when it gets older. And I guess it makes sense for Diageo in their never-ending quest to premiumize their whiskeys. It makes sense for them to start with Talisker. Talisker, as we all know, very expensive nowadays, and it's the logical one to start with if you're trying to overcharge. It does have that sort of premium appeal. It wouldn't make any sense if they started with, I don't know, Dufftown or Cardew. If you're gonna try and be fancy, if you're gonna try and premiumize your brands, sure, it makes sense that things like Talisker or Lagavulin would be spearheading the operation. Because genuinely, Talisker, in my opinion, does make some of the best older whiskey in Scotland, and that's even with the color and the chill filtration, which of course shouldn't be there. But yeah, there's some brands that just do really well with age, and I definitely think Talisker is among them. If I could drink aged Taliskers for the rest of my life, I'd be a happy man. Now, in terms of score, I want to score this without factoring in price. If I do factor in the price, that'll do too much damage to the score, and I just want to look at the whiskey for what it is, and for what it is, I want to score this a 93. It is one of my all-time favorites. It is an absolute stunner of a whiskey, and yes, it does give you a premium, luxurious experience. So for value, we all know what's coming. Of course, this is overpriced and it's not a value recommendation. Now, I don't know what percentage of my viewers own Tesla, but I'm guessing not a lot. But yeah, if you are in a certain tax bracket and the price doesn't sting, that's great. For the rest of us, certainly not a great value buy, but maybe you want to pick it up for a major life event, or I'm not even going to tell you when or where you should buy the whiskey. If you feel like buying a premium whiskey and you see the price and you can deal with it and you're okay with it, pick it up. It's great. It's a great whiskey. But yeah, obviously not a value buy. It was never going to be. What did you expect? All right, that's it for me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you want to help support the channel, I do have the Patreon. Otherwise, you can like, comment, and subscribe. And I'm sure this will fire up some opinions, and I'm looking forward to reading them down below in the comments. So what do you think of Talisker 25? Have you tried it? Would you ever even consider buying it? Would you maybe buy it as a sample at a bar or split a bottle, whatever? Yeah, let me know your thoughts on Talisker 25 down below. Also down below, you can let me know what you want to see me review next, and I'll keep it in mind for my upcoming videos. Bye, guys.